Question mark?
Sweet.
I'm on the right Wi-Fi this time and everything. Look at this.
Whatever. Wow, that's cool.
Look
All right.
at that. I might be able to actually do some Gentoo work today.
I might actually try to, load up the page so I can see the chat and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Let me see. I got to get my secret Firefox going back here. No, what is that? Twitch.
Twitch is the
Oh,
place.
you know what I forgot to do is look into how to do Twitch and YouTube at the same time. Because I guess we're not partnered with either, so there's no... Because I guess we're not partnered.
Yeah.
We don't get in trouble for that.
Right. I mean, I guess there's always next time.
There is. How do you pop the chat out?
Joshua.
Hey, oh, that was a quick cup of coffee.
Yeah, I got the best coffee. It's called the coffee that I brewed myself in like a growth pond, and it is
the Gentoo of coffees.
An interesting experience, and I don't recommend growing your own coffee.
Oh no. I barely grow my own herbs to cook with. I couldn't imagine doing coffee.
I was thinking that sounded daunting.
It is very daunting because not only do you have to grow the plants, but you also have to roast the beans. And roasting is probably like the easiest part, but it definitely takes the longest. It's much faster for me to compile Chromium than it is to roast beans.
There it is.
And one of these days, I'll figure out how to get Twitch chat, or just chats in the live stream. I'll do that one day.
Fun fact about Twitch is that Twitch's chat backend is just IRC.
IRC.
No way.
Yep.
So you could just so how do you connect up to the IRC channel?
Give me a second, and I will send you a link because I have it linked somewhere.
That's cool. I didn't know
it's
that
in like
at
their
all.
bot documentation.
Oh, so this okay.
Here it is. Here it is.
Look, hold on,
so I guess I can just push that in like the room chat. This.
Yeah.
There we go.
The event has started now. Hooray! Look, we're official.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Look at that.
Oh, I see. You're hiding my avatar.
Oh yeah, because it doesn't move.
Yeah, I just watched you do that. Decided to hide my avatar. Do I need to turn on my camera?
I mean, if you want me to put you on the thing, yeah, sure. Otherwise, it's just a square.
That's gonna require pants.
It's all good.
It would help.
There's only so much screen real estate, right? That's
speed running, getting banned on Twitch, right?
Yep. It's fine. I'll let you guys have it. You don't need to see my face.
Hey, I ran that eQuery thing because apparently I didn't have eQuery. Here, hang on. Let me log into it real quick, and then I'll share the stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool to watch.
Wait, eQuery is pretty cool. What's going on?
eQuery is very useful, and I only use the uses feature for it. I don't use any of the other features.
Excuse me, sir. Did I throw in? No!
What'd you do?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've locked myself out of the Gentoo box.
Uh-oh.
So,
10 minutes. That's just how SSH is configured in Gentoo, apparently.
Well, you know, the fun fact is, that's like the #1 way that people find out that services like that are actually functioning.
That's a good way, honestly.
Yep.
I mean,
it's the best way.
Yep.
What, that they break and they kick me out?
My very first experience with configuring fail to ban was me locking myself out, and I'm like, well, I guess it works.
Of course.
Yeah, most of those things say to actually try it to make sure. I mean, that's the only way to be absolute sure.
Well, that's the fun part.
They do
what
tell
do
you to have an alternative way to get in, though, if you really needed to.
I have an alternate way, but I don't want to get up. So
yeah, that's fair.
I should have logged into it before sitting down. Is what I should.
Or just configure an SSH key.
Yeah, I probably could. Oh, hey, I should probably let's see. I gotta share this on the stream so that I can everybody can enjoy my failure with me. Ta-da! Look, everybody.
Oh yeah, yeah. There it is.
I'm a little slow today.
Account is locked.
Look
Do
at
your
that. There we
logins,
go.
yeah.
We'll make it smaller so you can. So we can have maximum handbook, like view space. There we go. Cool. Look at that.
I think that's cool. Yeah, that's good.
Cool that I locked myself out, or cool that I resized the window.
No, cool that it works and it locked you out.
The
Not cool that you locked yourself out, but it's cool that it worked.
Oh yeah, true.
I think it's cool that GNOME Terminal still refuses to acknowledge proper line spacing.
This
Yeah,
the blank
got some
spacing
extra
stuff.
padding there, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. Here, I could probably do.
That's like 1.5 there.
How do you? Oh. See, here we go. Now I'm messing with it.
No, it's actually not an issue with the GNOME Terminal itself. It's actually an issue with how the VTE libraries render the text.
There we go. We'll make that a little shorter. There we go. That's about ish. There we go. So yeah, made the text real big so we can really see what I've done. But you know what? I was meaning to go through those questions, man, that BGT sent. I didn't,
my goodness.
I didn't respond directly because that would be a lot of typing. So,
right. Well, and he did kind of beat us up a little bit, but I mean, I think.
Oh, that's fine.
We answered some of it already, honestly.
Well, and I think one of them,
and it turns out one of them he didn't actually know.
Yeah, Mr. Rainbolt took care of that one for us. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, Aaron did a great job with that.
And it turned out that BGT had a corrupt ISO or something. I think there was. I believe
so. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a little bit of maybe
either tinkering after the fact or during or something.
Yeah,
I messed it up.
And then you know what? We ended up having a very similar conversation just a little while ago in the Telegram for the same exact reason. The word force, man. People use this word force. And it doesn't really make sense when you're talking about Linux because you're not forced to do anything. There are defaults, but you are not forced to. And I hate, you know what I hate? You know, the most used phrase, and I absolutely hate it, is shove it down my throat. Not one thing that anybody ever says that about is shaped like a hot dog. It does not go down your throat at all. What a silly exaggeration that is. Okay.
Well, not only that, like, really all that means is someone made decisions that you don't like.
That's what it always boils down to.
But that's how decisions, like, I mean, there's the option of making no decision isn't there, so they had to make a decision.
Well, kinda. I mean, Gentoo exists. You just
that lets you do whatever you want, right?
Exactly.
But there's others that do the same thing. You don't have to necessarily pick that path either.
Yeah. Right. I don't know. You have so many options. This is why I'm such a huge proponent of yet another distro. Do it. I dare you. It's a good idea.
But I guess some of the point I was trying to make was there's a lot of option within that distro. You don't even need to go so far as to pick another one. You still have changes that you can make to what you have.
Yeah. Well, I think at least this was in regard to Snap.
That's okay.
And by default, you get the Snap. So I think that was the
default,
big
yes, you
part.
do, but that doesn't mean you can't change it.
Oh,
just like, distro X gives you a light theme. That doesn't mean you can't ever change it to a dark theme. There are options, and sometimes they're easy to just tick the box.
Yeah.
Or other times you actually have to install some theme engine or something that makes changes for you. But all it means is someone made a decision. That's it. That's all it's like. It's not so hard set that you can't change it.
Hang on. I am not.
Because you don't like Snap? Get rid of it. Like uninstall it. you can still have a functional system.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
And like,
So the snaps got shoved down their throat, so they can't uninstall it or something.
no, they got pre-installed.
Yeah. Okay. So
funny thing is that with Ubuntu, Mozilla does offer a developer PPA that offers Firefox.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, and they have instructions on their website on how to just download the tar, and
that's what I do.
You can put it in opt, and it'll automatically update.
Yeah, I just grab the tarball, man. Like that's so easy, and it self updates, so I don't have to worry about some package manager getting in the way of my updates either. So, and that's how actually that's how I do it on Gentoo. I know I could take the binary Firefox. I know I can.
But what's the difference?
I don't got it. Well, because I don't got to emerge it. My browser should be independent.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the end result is no different.
Right. What I'm using is no different, but the update path is
not really. Like, so you're getting the binary from Gentoo, or you're downloading the tar, which is a binary from Mozilla.
Right. But the only difference, and it's a silly difference, is that Firefox takes care of itself in the way.
Well,
that
I get that. Yeah, no, it's not dependent on the package manager.
Right, and with emerge or with Gentoo and installing the binary Firefox, you got to wait for an emerge, which is fine. Also fine.
I think either way is fine. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. All right. So what I got to do is, because I wanted to actually put this up on the screen, is write an email, contact@linux userspace.show. This is all because oh man, and killed the formatting too. Oh,
I am disappointed that lemmy.lust.sh does not exist.
It doesn't, but lust.sh/lemmy does.
Yeah.
Oh, and the formatting is just.
I'd have to do some magic to make that happen.
Up.
Well, you want to talk about some magic? I had to write my own SSL cert. That way, Firefox wasn't giving me angry warnings because all you're doing is just a domain redirect.
Oh, the HTTPS thing?
Yeah.
On lust.sh. Yeah, I haven't done anything with that yet.
Yeah, it's just DNS. Yeah.
Basically, that was.
Hey, I mean, out of the box, it works kind of handily without having to do any work.
Yeah, I mean, it works.
We could actually just throw it at our caddy redirect thingy. As
that would
virtual host as a virtual host, and that would totally take care of it.
Yeah, that's the magic I was thinking we needed to do. And
it would just do it. Maybe I should just do that this weekend.
Hey man, don't threaten me with a good time.
Nothing like the good old-fashioned self-assigned weekend project, right?
Uh-huh.
I think I just did, yeah. It's not actually, that's really easy to work with.
Okay, here we go. I got it. Copy.
Actually, lust.sh/lemmy doesn't seem to be working either.
No.
I wonder what's going on with that.
You might need to know no certificate HTTP.
Let's find out. Lust.sh.
No HTTPS.
That might be true. 404. Oh wait.
That's no. Two redirects.
That's
like a
Lemmy doesn't work. Yeah, and we don't have a Lemmy, a /Lemmy. What do we have?
Oh, you know why we don't? It's because it's at Fireside, right?
Is that one Fireside only?
I think we need to fix Fireside. I can fix it.
Oh, okay. Well, we technically have a Lemmy.
Oh, we absolutely do.
It's just on that longer domain name.
It is.
What you should do is just point lem.lux or lem.lust.sh to it.
Oh, that's true. We can
keep it short.
Shorter.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of the
short
shorten
thing,
man.
All the links.
Okay, let me find out if I'm gonna explode OBS by adding a new window here. Okay, all right. Here's what I want. wanted. Here's what I wanted. Some way to write this down or show this on the screen while we talk about it. Okay. So, here are the points that I wanted to get to. And you know what? BGT is probably not here. Oh, you know why?
The very first point.
You know why? Because I didn't tell anybody we were doing this. Man.
Can I counter the very first point?
Go for it.
Okay, so where it says, no, the server is actually closed source because I can't host my own Snap repo. That last statement right there is actually patently false.
Yep.
Yeah, you can.
Because all Snap really does is just wget down a package and install it. So you can theoretically create your own server. And yes, Rudra, the Ubuntu Unity developer, has proven that you can do this.
Yep. So I like that one. I think he's working off old info. I think all of his info comes from around the time that he borked up that system and he couldn't install Flatpak.
Entirely possible.
But
they are slow and make your computer boot slower. Well, that's because they're unpacking Squash FS. They use AppArmor, another technology that they have installed. It does not bloat your computer because AppArmor is mandatory access control, not discretionary access control. Mm-hmm. There's a difference. Take the time and read and understand them. Clear up the mount points. I mean, that's because Squash FS.
Well, Dan said, you know what? Actually, I'm on Ubuntu at the moment, so I can check. Dan said.
I said.
Let me see. LSBLK still has all the trash, but we said DF may not. DF is handled. You're right.
Yeah, DF they fixed.
Yeah. Here, let me put that one on the screen. So LSBLK looks terrible. Absolutely terrible. Look at this. Ugh. Loop back. There's 22. Look at this. That's a lot of snaps. Okay. And then my actual disk. And I never got. What is up with this? Dan, tell me what this is. Why is this there? Why is varsnap Firefox common host hunspell mounted there? Mounted on that partition.
I don't know why it's mounted that way, but you definitely need it for the spell check. The spell check stuff, right? And I think it's something to do with the way Firefox references that. So it needs to be at a certain path in order for Firefox to be able to reference it.
Right, but why is it so? And Saigon, you're saying the same thing. But why is it there? Why is it right there? Why is it mounted at the partition?
It's got to be the way it like the bind mount works.
Because look,
the only thing I can think of.
What kind of file system is root file system running?
I don't know. Whatever the Ubuntu default is. Was that ext4?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, is it? Oh, so it's mounted there because it's in var.
Right.
And Snap can't mount anything outside of Snap /Snap. So it does it super special.
Snap can't see your file system. It can't.
Except for Firefox.
It's not given permissions for that.
Except Firefox has one. Because it's mounted there.
Certain like downloads directory and stuff. Yes.
So
there are some things ticked on. Yes.
Right. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, Snap is similar to Flatpak in that way with the containerization. So what it's doing is it's actually mounting the loopback device. Directly on the file system.
Right.
Why it's reading like that, though, I'm not 100% certain.
Yeah.
Because if you're using an ext4, you can't mount the same file system 3 different ways. Not unless there's like some kind of not unless there's some kind of a volume action. So maybe it's ext4 on LVM.
It could be inside the Snap.
Maybe so. That's just weird.
I'm not sure, but I do know it has to be in like. It's just the way Firefox needs to find the spell checking thing, and it's an external thing. It's not part of Firefox exactly. So it needs to find it in a certain place, and then it needs to be able to, mount it there. And if it's not going to if it doesn't find it there, it is going to do spell checking. Which was a thing for a while, and I guess this is the workaround that they found to be able to fix it. Like, you couldn't do any spell checking. It was a deal.
Yeah. So, there was like some card reader or something or another they needed to fix as well. But if you look at DF, it's much
Locales
more...
was another one. Yeah.
Yeah. it's much cleaned up. So at least if you just run DF, but I guess these little packages, loop whatever things are technically block devices. Are they block devices?
Yeah.
Okay, so then that's why they show up in LSBLK. I mean, because that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh wait, no. Twitch.
I think it's been 10 minutes now. You can probably access the Gentoo box again.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm getting there. I forgot. Oops. See, can't even copy paste right.
I was doing something.
There we go.
I was over here. I was fixing something.
Yeah,
that's what I was doing. That's what I need. Let's see.
Sorry, I'm doing the thing I was supposed to do 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, that might fix that.
There we go.
Oh, that guy also said he was using Linux Mint Debian edition, right?
Yeah. Oh wait,
Sure.
no, different person. But yes, they ended up on LMDE.
Oh, okay. So that's a different guy then, because the one that the comment that you have up on the stream right now mentions AppArmor and that they don't use it on their computer except for just snaps. If you're using a Linux Mint or Linux Mint Debian or any Ubuntu-based system, you are using AppArmor, whether you know it or not.
Yep.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
I mean. Well, I mean. So AppArmor is the thing that Ubuntu goes with, right? I mean,
yeah,
cool.
But SE Linux exists for a bunch of other things too. So I mean, the end game is trying to be the same, although the technical in between is obviously different.
Well, one's also a little bit more user facing than the other two.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, there's other tools trying to do the same thing, so it's not unique in that, I guess, is my point.
Okay, if I understood what you wrote to me, Josh, then if I run the equery uses command against Pipewire, it will tell me what is what the system wanted and how it's compiled, right?
Yeah, so if you're looking at the output, where you see where on the pluses and minuses up above it, you see U and I. U is what your configuration files have set for Pipewire. Plus means that's going to be added. Minus means that's not going to be added. I is what's installed on your system.
Okay. So if they match left and right all the way down, then it is compiled the way it needs to be.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me look through these. I looked through them before, and it looked like they were all the same. And looking through it again, it looks like that is the case. So it is compiled the way that eQuery says it should be compiled.
Okay, and then is systemd enabled in your use flags?
That one is in the portage, make conf, right?
Yeah.
Systemd is in use. Yeah, use equals and systemd is in the list.
What about pulse audio?
Is not.
Ah, that's your issue.
Wait, but if I want...
you need to add pulse audio as well.
Okay.
Because otherwise you won't have the Pipewire-pulse daemon.
Oh. Now where... I
think it said that, I think, in the Pipewire page, potentially.
Did it? So it's...
I thought so, and I thought we copied that. But
so, Dan, it's your fault.
Yeah, probably.
Wait, I need to be... no, let's see. Portage, make... Oh, nope. Portage, make... It's Portage now.
Portage, okay.
Portage.
I got you.
All right, so we just need to add... Pulse audio, you said?
Yep, just pulse audio, one word.
Pulse audio, all right. Pipewire is in there, so that's cool. Well, next you're going to ask me to emerge at world new use something or another, right?
Yeah, emerge -AU, big U, capital N, capital D, @world. That's all the short flags for it.
I like the long flags for this one for some reason. I can't really quite put my finger on it other than I know what I'm doing. Well, I haven't updated since
with the short flags.
Yeah. I haven't updated since I broke it, so this is probably going to pull in some other packages too.
Only if you resync. If you haven't synced it, it'll just
oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, so I already have everything downloaded. I suppose we'll see. We'll see if anything needs to happen.
Yeah,
oh, good God!
The e-builds might fail.
Look at this. So if it's asking me to compile like everything, that's not everything.
Look through here. That's a lot of new stuff. My goodness.
Is it new?
That's where it says ebuild n. That means that it's installing a new package.
I definitely emerged new a while ago. Oh, it's all Perl.
Yeah, that's all Perl.
Oh, yeah. So Perl goods.
See. Those were all pretty small. Okay, so those won't take long.
Perly
might
bits.
Be able to get through. Let me see. A few libs, text live stuff. Oh, this should probably not take too long.
No, it looks like it's mostly.
It doesn't seem like
All right, let's do it. Let's just get it done. Anyway, but that gives us time to go over all this stuff. And oh, did I put it? Okay, that was the last thing I needed to do. Got sidetracked again. I needed to put the announcement in copy the matrix. Hey, so wait, so what you're saying is if we did a matrix to IRC bridge, we could matrix to IRC bridge to Twitch bridge thing?
Yes.
That would be cool. That's the only bridge I'm cool with. Because if we just have a mirror from IRC
we'd
to
have
matrix.
to self-host the IRC thingy, I think, now.
You don't even have to self-host the IRC thing. You just have to find an IRC service that will actually allow bridging.
Yeah, and right.
But
because
if you use
the Libera chat one is shut down now.
Yeah, but you can use a tool like MatterBridge.
Right. Yep.
Which will allow you to use, which basically acts as like a client, and you just tell it what server and what channel you want it to sync.
Yep, that's what we're using on the Ubuntu channels is MatterBridge, and it bridges IRC, Matrix, and Telegram all together.
Yeah. I'm working on trying to figure out a way to get MatterBridge working with the YouTube chat API myself.
Oh, that would be cool.
That
sounds trickier. Yeah, it sounds trickier.
Yeah.
Especially when, like YouTube streams, every chat room has its own unique ID.
It does, yeah. Yeah, it makes it hard even for OBS. Like if you want to have like that integrated into your stream, you have to have a different URL every time.
Yep. Which there's a way there are ways to get around that.
Right.
But I'm not a programmer, so I don't even know where to begin with it.
That's my problem all the time.
Well, somebody's got to find the problems.
Of course, I'm sitting here, I'm configuring Emacs at the same time, so maybe I am a programmer.
Yeah. I do not know why my camera is just refusing to focus on me.
It goes good for a little bit. But then
like I'll do that, it'll refocus, and it's like, cool. And then all of a sudden it's like, I'm going to look at the hat.
Or something.
Yeah, look, see, what does it look? There it is. Oh, I'm just too close. If I back up a little.
Oh, speaking of Emacs, back up. No.
My configuration?
No.
Oh, did it pull in an Emacs package?
No, look at Leo's shirt.
Oh.
Yeah. That's right. I forgot what shirt I was wearing today.
Yeah, there it is.
Good call.
Yeah. Well, I upgraded from Emacs 24 to 29. And
wow, that's a big jump.
Yeah, it is a big jump because, I just ported over my old Debian stable Emacs configuration.
Holy cow.
Just like, let's see if we can get this working with a modern version of Emacs. It's like, we're just going to rewrite the whole thing from scratch.
Ooh-wee.
I've already forgotten 3 parentheses.
Yeah.
That's just a rite of passage, man.
Yep.
You shall not pass style. All right, so let's look at these things. Josh, I think you pretty much covered most of them. So, I mean, let's see. So the server's actually closed source. That bit is technically true, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Ubuntu's what runs behind snapcraft.io. That is Ubuntu's or Canonical or whoever Ubuntu's implementation, and they are not sharing that out with the world.
No.
That might piss enough people off, but I get that. That's fine. So, but yeah, as you were mentioning, Josh, Rudra has written one.
It's just right. It is just the delivery system for what it's worth.
Yeah. So, how easy is it to just like, if I wanted a snap, right, to just have like how AppImage has a repo of all the app images? Can you just host snap files?
Yeah,
like that?
Could.
So you can build your own snap.
Yeah.
And you'll have the package locally on your system, and then you can just snap, install, and then just give it the path to your file, and it will install it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I figure. So and install is not even quite right? Because all it does is just unpack it into one of those little mounts.
It just moves into the /snap directory on your system, and then it'll just set up like the mounts depending on how the snap package is built.
So all right, so
it's just like if you were to download the snap, right? You don't have to install it. Like instead of doing snap install, you could do snap download.
Mm-hmm.
It results in the same thing, and then you can install the local file that you have that you downloaded, right?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, the trick is that you can't use the proper snap command served to you by Canonical to install from a separate remote host, because snap is hard-coded to pull from snapcraft.io, which makes perfect sense in all honesty. It just makes sense to me.
All right.
But it takes all those steps and throws them into one, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing as like iOS in the App Store or Android and Google Play. It makes sense.
That it kind of. All right. So how hard coded can I change it?
You can fork it and then just change the URL in the source code.
So you would have to bring in a whole new version of Snap to get around that.
Yeah. Basically, just fork it and recompile it.
I
feel like
it actually doesn't take that long.
So I feel like there's a developer version of that though that you can, like if you're creating your snaps, you can install your own snaps.
Yeah. It's just that if you're working with a remote repository,
right?
Because when you're installing your own, when you're developing the snap, you're just working off of just a local system, not a remote host.
Right. Yep.
Interesting. Okay, so
if you downloaded them all locally, you could do it that way.
Yeah. Right. All right. So my original idea, which is a repository of snaps that you just download and
you just download it. You just have to download it, and then you can install it.
But doing a snap install process. I mean, it depends on snapcraft.io. It will not look anywhere else, no matter what kind of option you put into the command.
Either local or remote. That's what you got.
But the only remote is Snapcraft.
Right.
Unless you want to download the tarball and recompile it with a different URL.
With it.
Okay, that puts me half a step closer to BGT on this one, but I still end up with the same. No, it kind of does, because it's a little less open than I thought. I figured you could, in some configuration file somewhere, specify additional or totally separate repositories, kind of like how Flatpak does it.
But what's a repository?
Whatever someone stands up that serves up snaps, right? I mean,
right, but I'm just saying, ultimately, it's just a web server.
Well, of course, but I get that. I get the server side of it. That is just, you have to. I mean, again, you have to write your own implementation.
So I mean, what do you do from a web server? You download the stuff, right? So you download it locally, and then your problem solved.
Right. But you got to do it locally.
Essentially, so actually, that's what happens. You go to FlatHub. That's what happens, right? You click on it. What's it do? It downloads it.
But you can
get the Flatpak ref.
Yeah, but you can get a
ref file, right?
You get a ref that references a different URL that isn't FlatHub.
It does.
And you don't have to recompile Flatpak to do that.
It doesn't install it like, I mean, yeah, if you do Flatpak install, it looks at the remote. But
yeah, it looks at all the remotes that you have configured.
So it's kind of similar but different at the same time.
I'm not a huge fan of it being hard-coded, or at the very least, not easier.
Well, there isn't another one, so I mean, what's
true?
Yeah,
true. Maybe if there's another one that pops up, maybe that'll be on the roadmap for Snap.
Yeah, that's fair.
Make it a little easier to change that. But you're right, there isn't another one, so it's not like you would really just go point it anywhere else. And if you're just pointing it to somewhere to get one package, there's not that much of a difference than just downloading the package. But that's a big, huge, Linux has repos, and we don't have to go and download the website and download the file. That's a big sticking point for a lot of Linux folks.
I guess in my mind, it's more like the app image route, right? Where you want the application, you download it, right? You download the whole thing.
I don't
particularly. Can I come in with a hot take?
Let's hear it.
All right.
Okay, so Flatpak allows you to host your own repositories, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what repositories for Flatpak do you enable?
Oh, I just do the FlatHub.
Oh, on purpose?
Yeah.
No, most people do FlatHub, but the elementary one, like if you were on elementary, you'd have that.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about how many packages are available in these repositories, right?
2
because
minutes.
I ran numbers once.
Oh yeah.
FlatHub has 2,700 packages. Last I checked.
That's it.
Elementary has 43.
Right. No, absolutely.
Fedora. Now, Fedora's Flatpak repository has 120.
Really? I didn't think it was that many.
Those, as far as I can tell, are the 3 most popular Flatpak repositories.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think they're the only ones that I know
42 still makes it to the top 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, because FlatHub is so popular and everybody's posting their Flatpaks to FlatHub, what is the difference in this argument between Flatpak and Snap?
There is a
only
difference.
One repository people care about.
There is a difference, and it's philosophical only. It is.
Yeah, that's where I didn't want to get into that. But okay.
No, but that's the crux of most of his of his points are philosophical in nature. So you have to go down this path. But there is a difference because Snap hard codes it, and it's not trivial to change it. Flatpak does not hard code it, so it is trivial to just add another repository. Even if, and one of the main sticking points for Flatpak was that you as a developer can host your own. And a developer is not going to have 42 plus packages that they want to make available to you. They want to make their software plus whatever libraries you need to run their software. If that's 42, okay, maybe it is. But for most of the software from a clean install, I only see like 8 or something. So let's just say that that company would only be hosting like 15 tops, So they would never break top 3. They may not even break top 10. But the idea that it's easier to do in Flatpak than it is in Snap, I think, is a sticking point for some people. And that's where this argument's going to break down against the pragmatic people like me and Dan, and sounds like Josh too. We're pragmatic. I don't really care. But
right. Well, all right. So you said the magic word, though. You said easier.
Trivial.
You didn't say impossible. You didn't say impossible.
I mean, if we're talking about things that are easier, it is significantly easier to write a Snap file than it is a Flatpak.
Oh yeah. You just crank out some YAML there and you're done.
Yeah. There's a reason why there are so many snaps. It's not just Canonical helping people.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't think, one is just as easy as the other, to be honest, from a user standpoint, but trivial.
Yeah, from the user standpoint, but like, I guess you said like the methods around having the one store. I mean,
it all boils down to the same.
It's complicated, but it's not impossible.
Right.
I think that's some of the point. It's got to be some of the point.
I think when you slice it all away, that's what it's going to boil down to. It's going to boil down to the fact that it's not trivial to add another Snap repository to Snap. That's it.
Okay.
There's no other path you could take with that particular argument. Everything else is wheat versus chaff, man. The wheat is going to be that it's non-trivial to add another repository to Snap. But again, from a pragmatic standpoint, whatever. It's not like I'm going anywhere besides snapcraft.io to get any of my snaps, so it doesn't really bother me in any way whatsoever, shape, or form. But yeah, that's going to be the sticking point. Some snaps are verified by Canonical Saigoneer. Those have a check mark, I believe. And yes, I believe anyone can also upload there, but Canonical has the final say.
There's a pseudo approval process. Like basically what it is you effectively create like a merge request and for your snap package, and then there's just either an automated review or somebody actually does review it, and then they allow you to publish it. So
and I think actually getting an account used to be kind of automatic before, and they've recently sort of changed it so it's a little harder to just automatically, just to get an account. So there's a little bit of checking involved in that.
But that's
as well.
good. I think there needs to be that. I think you have to have that barrier
to
entry.
Spam out, right? Essentially, is what it's amounting to.
Otherwise, you end up with the first 10 years of the Microsoft Store.
You got 100 Hello World snaps. I mean, probably, right? I mean, that's what you're
going
to end
up with.
And
one of them, for some reason, has 10 million downloads, and you're like, huh?
Yeah.
It was a virus the whole time. Suckers!
Yeah. So, it may not be a virus, but it's not going to do anything helpful for you either, right? Yeah. So, I mean, there's that.
Yeah. So I'm a full fan of barriers to entry, and I'm even slightly a fan of, and this might give me some hate, of the buy-in to something like an Apple Store kind of. You got to pay like $80 or $100 a year to remain on the store, but not a whole lot of spam costs.
Yeah, no, it does cut it down.
But the fact that I use that word spam is actually very apropos, because why do we get spam in our emails? Because the barrier to because it's trivial. There's that word again. To send out spam, millions of messages it is trivial to do so. Right. And no, Linda, I don't care about your Chinese shipping business, because we keep getting those emails. But you know what I mean? Like, it is just trivial. And it would be trivial to set up, if there were no checking on the Snapcraft store, there would be no checking. And, if there wasn't any checking, if there wasn't any checking, then it would be trivial to just, bot upload the same thing 100 different times. And again, Microsoft Store.
Yeah, Linda is cool, Leo.
Linda is cool. I think they said Lindo's.
No, not Lindo's. Linda.
Depends on the Linda you're talking about, but some Lindas are cool. Our Spambot Linda, not cool.
Not cool. No.
All right, so
Inspire. Yeah, there's a word.
Let's see. Doesn't matter if the app is open source. The submission process, rejection, and appeal, and all that are controlled by Canonical. That's what we were just talking about. So that is true, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think there needs to be a central authority. Otherwise, you're going to end up with, again, the Microsoft Store. So allowing that to happen or endorsing it by using it is akin to watching Google Play become the only Android app store.
I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate there. I don't think it's entirely just Canonical people that are doing some of those reviews. So, yeah.
Ooh.
But there are some reviews taking place, right? Yeah.
Hi, Tech. Hang on. That's a good question. I want to add that to this list of things we need to talk about, because that's important. But let me finish this one out first. So anyway,
that is a good question.
Yeah. Okay. So what you were saying, Dan, was that it's not just Canonical doing it.
The review things, no, not necessarily.
Okay.
I think many are. Maybe they all are now. I don't know. But I think in the past there have been times where other trusted community folks have done some of the reviews of applications as well.
Okay. Hang on, let me...
But yeah, it's the Snap Crafters team that does that.
Right. Okay. All right. So, so endorsing it by using it is akin to watching Google Play become the only Android app store and doing nothing about it. But, I mean, I think you'd have a better argument by saying the Apple Store on that one. But because Google Play is not the only store.
That's right. There are other stores.
F-Droid is a thing. Side loading from GitHub, like straight from the tap GitHub is a thing.
The Aurora App Store also exists.
Yeah. So let's
I've actually installed some of the KDE apps right from their factory as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, okay, but let's say we're talking about the Apple App Store, or in some dystopian future where Google Play really is the only option on Android. Yeah. See, but I don't know. It's okay. So here's the thing. Here's where it breaks down to me. Here's where the choice thing and the freedom thing come into play. That Ubuntu is not forcing you to use snaps, though. It's not like, so if you're talking about Google Play in a situation where Google Play really is the only option that you have, then okay, they're forcing you to use Google Play, but that's not the situation in Ubuntu.
But you get pushed in that direction.
Of course, though.
But you're right. Like, there are alternatives. Just like, Canonical pushes you in a direction, but it's the same. I think they're both the same, right?
Yeah.
In that regard, they let you have options.
Yeah, Linux Mint is pushing you in the Flatpak direction. Fedora is pushing you in the Flatpak direction. So I mean, they're making opinionated decisions, and I think that's a good thing. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't jive because you have a gajillion ways. You can install Homebrew. You can install Flatpak next to snaps. But I think part of that, though, was the misunderstanding that he had.
That you could still install Flatpak?
Yeah. He was under the impression that you couldn't install Flatpak, which meant that you probably couldn't install a bunch of other stuff too. But that's not the case. You can install Flatpak. You can install Homebrew. You can install Nix if you wanted to. You can install DistroBox. You can all kinds of manner of stuff.
Yeah, more
so
just
I think
straight up app images. Straight up app images.
I mean, not only do they ship Flatpak in the Ubuntu repositories, but they also ship a Flatpak plugin for the Snap store.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do, and they also do it for Discover as well.
Yeah, I installed it.
If you had the Plasma, system, you could do it that way too.
Yeah. Using the Snap store with the Flatpak thing installed clutters things up a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm very much a command line guy. So I'll just install
It's actually not bad in Discover. I mean, any worse than any other Discover action.
Yeah. I just get the huge drop down. Like the drop down has like 5 things in it now, and I'm like, now which one do I want?
Yeah, I think it works.
Eris says LFS less opinions. That's true. I mean, if you yeah, you also have to write your own package manager, which I'm not a fan of. So,
you can also just use Portage.
True. Actually, that's probably a good idea.
I was gonna say you could compile another one.
That said, you do have to compile Python first to make use of Portage.
How funny!
It's there.
I just love that you have to compile the compiler, man. I love it when I see GCC pop up. That's my favorite thing. Look, seriously, man, this camera is just.
Funny thing about LFS is that most of the time when you're compiling GCC, the majority of the time is actually running the checks on GCC. Just to make sure that GCC compiled properly.
Okay.
That's where the majority of the time exists, and you know what? That makes perfect sense because it's nice to know that my compiler actually works.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're really that needs to be good on the other side of that.
All right, so I wanted to touch on Haig's question. So, is this plethora of packaging causing an impost on devs? So he's talking about Snap, Flatpak, App Image, all that. Is it a lot to maintain? Yeah, I think the short answer to the question is yeah, right?
It's a lot easier to maintain though, because the idea behind them is that you just publish one and it just works everywhere, right?
Right, but that's
kind of like
unless you need to bundle extra dependencies that you didn't have before, you probably don't need to touch it.
But you have to remember why Canonical made snaps to begin with, because Snap existed as click packages, and they made the click packages because they didn't want to port everything to yet another repository. If you're an application developer, and like Bottles is a prime example of this, by the way. Bottles only want you to use the Flatpak because distributions don't all ship the same version of Bottles.
Right. Oh, right. Yeah, that's a huge thing. But okay, so
so they wanted the base to be like the same, but then like everybody get the latest application, and so the way to do that was to bundle all those things together, and then anytime you do an update, it just doesn't update. Unless, of course, like I said, you need to actually go into the Snap and add a dependency or whatever. You probably won't ever touch it. Like it'll just update.
Okay, but I think the root of the question though comes from history, right? Mm-hmm. Before, people that wrote software that was compilable on Linux, all they ever really did was they made a tarball available. and then the repositories would go and grab that tarball, and then they would compile it for the distribution, and then they would make that software available in their repositories, right? Easy. Right. The dev created one package for Linux, and then eventually you got so we'll have the tarball, and then we'll also do a deb and RPM package, but now there's more. So
here's the devil's advocate to that. I think where it got tricky was, okay, now we need to do multiple versions because people are running, different LTS releases and stuff. And so then different packages are available. So they might need to tweak things and still hang on to one of the older ones and backport some of those other changes. And that's where it got tricky. And that's where, carrying the multiple versions from a developer standpoint, unless you just don't care, which is probably not the case. That's where it got tricky there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess it depends on how the dev wants to attack it, right? I mean, that's really
and
where
it depends how much it changes.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, it depends. But I guess if you were an old dev doing it the old way, then it does kind of put an imposition on you that you have to learn the new stuff.
Yeah, so you just throw your release over the fence and say, here you go?
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people just did, right? Because you had
sure.
That's the entire point of verification on these stores now, because that's exactly what was happening, is that the compilable packages were out there. People were like, oh, I want to see this on FlatHub. So they quite literally compiled it all, packaged it up for FlatHub, and then threw it in FlatHub. And now everybody has access to it regardless of the system that they're on, because of the way that all of the dependency and stuff resolution works. So I think overall it's a good thing.
Snap's the same way. You're not really publishing the actual package necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
You're just making a little. It's almost like a Docker Compose or something like that, right? You're just making the recipe for it, and then the Snap store is the thing that creates the package, and it updates when you update.
Right.
Just like when you updated that tarball, it's the same. Like it's once you have it set up, there's no extra effort.
Right. Yeah. I think that's about it with the Flatpak and the Snap and everything else. Once you get your automation going, then pushing out a new release is just pushing out a new release, and you got all the packages that need to be compiled or moved or packaged up. They're done automatically. Or you can be an old stick in the mud and then just issue out a tarball, and then people will just handle it for you if your software's cool. You know what I mean? Like,
you're not wrong.
But also, if you want to be hip and cool and take care of it all yourself and have the verified badge and stuff like that, then yeah, there is a bit of an imposition there.
Well, and I guess that's why there's unverified things in both of those Snap Store and Flatpak, right?
Here's your tarball. Good luck. Have fun.
Someone might take care of it for you there too. Just like they might package it up for Debian, they might package it up for Arch, they might, whatever, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I liked Snap had a really cool advantage for me for a while, because BTOP was nowhere, but it was in Snap. It was in the Snapcraft store, so I was able to use it. It was like 8 commands, which was annoying, but I didn't have to compile it myself, which is fantastic. Great, easy. Now, BPyTop was a little different because that was just Python. I could pip install it, but anyway, as a little addition, I've wanted one of these shirts for the longest time as well. Yeah, because everybody has to. Well, just about everybody, but like Void and what was the other one?
Yeah, you could be Muscle.
Yeah.
You live in Texas, right?
Uh-huh.
Why don't you go to Texas Linux Fest, which the Free Software Foundation is going to be available at, and you can pick up a shirt from there.
I want to. I absolutely want to, man. I've bought a bunch of stuff from their store. I mean, I got this from their store. So I'm in the habit of buying a bunch of nerd crap. So this is next on the list probably, man.
I mean, I just buy cups myself. That's what I do.
Like mugs and stuff?
Yeah, coffee mugs.
Yeah.
That's
I have
fair.
I just buy stickers now. I have the wrong glass for this today, but I have the past couple episodes I've had our stickers on them. I wonder if that's why LQ Larry was asking about our logo.
I don't know.
So
I don't know why he was asking about that. I am kind of curious what he had in mind.
Dude's gonna start selling stickers for us. Watch.
I don't care.
It's gonna be hilarious.
I guess.
I'm gonna love it. It's gonna be great.
If he can make money on it, good for him.
That's kind of how open source works, right? I mean, you take our stuff and then you just do whatever you want to with it. Look, man, that's basically just advertisement, so I'll take it. All right, so
exactly. That's why people do that sort of thing.
All right, so they are slow and they make your computer boot slower. Is that true? That's not true. Did they actually?
All right, so they add a systemd thing run thing, right? So there is a daemon that's running. So
it also depends on what snaps you have installed too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but currently though, none of the snaps are boot does not depend on any of the snaps, right?
It may not depend on them, but it probably does start to mount them and stuff. So that might take a moment extra.
Wait, but why would it mount them before you use them? I thought that was the whole point of decompressing them and stuff.
Oh, it does, but I think all those block mounts, like LSBLK stuff, like it's got to know where they all are.
Okay, so, okay.
I don't I'm talking about fractions of a second here.
Oh no,
really,
it is
seriously. Yeah, absolutely.
The reason I didn't know that it made your boot slower is because I don't think Ubuntu's boot is slow. Like we're talking, Windows takes longer to boot up than we're talking like by twice as long Windows takes to boot versus Ubuntu on this machine. So, yeah. You're probably right, but I feel like the timing is so insignificant. Unless maybe we need to install this on Tatertop, dude, and then run some how long does it take to boot on Tatertop?
Oh. I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess I could.
So here's the test I would like to see. Install Fedora, who does not have snaps, but does have a full-fledged installation of stuff, and install Ubuntu on it, and boot it, and
see which one's faster?
I guess, yeah.
Well, you could do the system deep blame analyze thing, and it'll give you the actual metrics on it, right?
Actually, yeah, that's also pretty true. We could also do it in a VM. We don't have to do it on Tatertop. Just like a VM with 1 core and 2 gigs of RAM, you know? Like, we could probably get that done and just kind of see what's what. Is it a significant portion of boot time to wait on snaps? Maybe. Okay. That one's one I'm really hanging.
It may add some.
They could also be arguing cold booting the application when you're in user space.
That is different. All right. So yeah, I'll give you that one. The first time you load something, depending on the snap and the compression that it employs.
Oh, the first instance of they are slow. One. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not all of them, and some of them are different than others, right? And because like I said, it depends on the compression that they're using.
Firefox is less than a second now. I don't even notice it.
Okay. So the reason why Firefox, for example, works really quick now is that when you're on a fresh, brand new installation of Ubuntu, the very first time you launch Firefox, it does take long. Because what it does is it indexes your system's locale configuration.
Yeah,
and it will only enable that locale compared to what it used to do, where it would just give you everything.
Yeah.
Right.
I appreciate that it's a lot faster now.
The other thing that's going on there is after it does that initial decompression thing, it's not doing that again. There's stuff that's in RAM, sure. and it that's just no difference at all.
I'm so glad you guys are so smart. That's awesome.
Yeah, I guess.
I only pretend to be smart. People.
No, I learn things, I guess. I'm not a snap wizard necessarily, but
I'm not a snap wizard. I just stayed at a Holiday Express last night.
I guess it goes back to that old conversation that I was having, okay, so the thing didn't do what you wanted it to do, 5 years ago. Have you tried it again recently?
Yeah, we talked about
that. Probably has changed, right? I mean, and so I keep checking on it, even though I may not use all of them.
Did y'all see this?
Which thing?
Did y'all see Red Hat blog? They yesterday, no, 2 days ago, Monday.
I can't see that at all because you've got a whole bunch of stuff in front of it.
Oh man, I gotta turn off this stuff. Hang on, let me turn off that one. Yeah, we'll turn off this one too. Let's just look at the internet for a minute.
Okay.
No, wait, right, there it is. This one, November 27th. Look at this, dude.
No, I didn't
Red
see
Hat
that.
Enterprise Linux 10 plans for Wayland and Xorg server. Anybody that's
I
been
think they listened to
following the story, you know
they
what's
listened
coming.
to the podcast. They listened to the podcast.
Of
That's all there is
course.
to it.
And
the time is now, and they said okay.
Exactly. So, yeah, move over, CEO of Red Hat. It's my turn.
So they announced this like months ago.
They have.
Well,
it's been
what they said was they deprecated Xorg in RHEL 9, and that in some future release they were going to get rid of it. And so that's what they said before. But on November 27th, they have actually pinned which version of RHEL they're going to actually remove Xorg in, and that was this. So now we know RHEL 10 is the target. That is a bit of a, what do you call that? An emergent, bit of news here.
It is.
So,
it is. Yeah. It's been a
where is
moment,
the line?
It is very new.
Let's see. Blah blah blah. Here it is. Oh no. Through this transition. That being said, community. Blah blah blah.
Well, how about today is being recognized as the day, like it said that right up there in the
it did.
bottom line of one of those paragraphs. You went past it.
I did. But there's a very specific sentence in here. There it is, right here. Right now, with this, we've decided to remove Xorg server and other X servers except X Wayland from RHEL 10 and the following releases. That statement, that's the one that's going to get quoted. So there it is. Yeah. So Big Boy RHEL has decided that no more. It's Wayland only from here on out on RHEL releases. Now, further in the article, they say this doesn't affect Fedora, this doesn't affect anything else. This is just RHEL 10 and beyond. And if you care, and if you're on RHEL and you just need Xorg, just stay on RHEL 9 for its full 10-year life cycle, plus some, if you got the money for it. And you just could use Xorg until you ride off into the sunset, right? So we got like 8 more years on RHEL 9 for that. So you're good. You're fine, which is fantastic, man. Oh, yeah. So Haig says there's so much to catch up on because he's been away from FOSS for so long. But, yeah, so I'm on Wayland, and there's some landmines that you got to watch out for, man. Like, I can't have 2 different scalings on the otherwise OBS crashes. So, there's still some pricklies that you have to watch out for. But by and large,
but in reality, though, you couldn't have 2 different scalings before. So
right. So
it's almost not a regression, even though it's a issue.
It's a sidestep.
What portal you're using?
It's a sidestep.
Yeah.
But it's good to see that the big boys are moving to Wayland 2 to back us up on what we said. So
it's nice they made the podcast.
We're playmakers, dude. We're 100% playmakers. I did actually look around, dude. Our episode dropped before a lot of the big names in Linux podcasting started talking about that stuff too. So, and what's funny about that is that we record the show almost a week in advance, like pretty close to a week in advance. So it was a week and another week before people started talking about it. So feel pretty good about that one. Go check the timestamps.
So how long until we get the history of X11?
Ooh,
yeah,
that one's hard, man. We did the history of CDE, which actually contained a lot of X history in it.
It did actually talk about a bunch of stuff because it actually talked about W.
Oh yeah, exactly, where X actually came from. Yeah, exactly. And
right.
The V display server. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of that in there, and a lot of that is just going to be copy pasted over to the real Xorg history. And now that it's dying is a pretty good time. So I figure this is going to be a season 5 thing, though.
Oh, well then I will happily link you a talk by Keith Packard, which is an Xorg developer.
Oh, baby.
And it's very fascinating to listen to.
This is where
he will literally talk about the history of Xorg.
And that's going straight into the little history repository that I'm going to keep until we do an Xorg history. That's fantastic, man. And like my favorite thing, though, was that there was multiple implementations of the X11 protocol, right? We're just left with Xorg now. There was like X-Free 86 and all kinds of other stuff too, man. So there's
the X-Free 80,
So it needs to be an X11 history, not like an Xorg history or an X-Free 86 history. It's got to be the protocol's history so that we can kind of bring in some of the other things, unless that's too much, in which case be like, oh, okay, Xorg then. Just so I can make it easier on myself.
It's the one that survived, I suppose.
I mean, that would be cool, but yeah, I don't. But that's what's really cool about the entire thing is that you have to have a clarification of what the difference is between an X11 and an Xorg and all these other things. Like, you have to start the history out with that, because I don't think many people know that there's a difference.
Right.
Funny thing is that the Wayland transition is going by a lot smoother than the transition from X386 to X11.
That was murderous, man.
I agree. People forget all of that. Well, they probably didn't.
I know.
They probably didn't go through it, but I mean, just the same, they forget all that.
Yeah, I started my Linux journey around the time that was happening. So I didn't really feel it, but I had heard it in some of the communities that I was reading news from. So it was kind of cool, but I never got bit by any of it. Slackware was X386 when I installed it first. So that was worked just fine. And then I ended up on Ubuntu and everything else, who were at the time Xorg, right? So
probably.
Yeah. So it never made any difference to me because I never felt it. Let's see. Oh, look at that. So cool. Now the Haig made it back. He didn't have to blacklist any drivers in Debian. So, man.
No, that's good.
The experience
actually, there's something, that has definitely gotten a lot more polished as the drivers in Debian, and even more so with the latest release, where they've actually got some of those non-free ones actually right on the disk.
I know. That makes things so much easier. Oh, wow, that's right. Yeah, that was a whole thing. That took years for that to actually come to fruition. But now
you should have seen the mailing lists.
Yeah, all I saw was the news on it, which referenced some of the mails on those mailing lists. That's all I really ever got, and that was bad enough.
Yeah, it was intense.
But I think we even made that joke on the Debian episode where everything, before. Oh no, it was more recent, but we were talking about Ian. It was It had to have been the CDE. Oh no, the XFCE episode, because it was FWF whatever, the window manager that XFCE built itself on.
XFWM.
Yeah, where on some of the early versions of Debian, Ian was just like, I trashed it. It was like, wow. But now it takes, it's like getting something through Congress or Parliament now to get to get a change like that pushed through. And so now with the inclusion of the non-free,
you have to go through a general resolution and stuff.
Yeah. So and now that we have,
it's always going to get political too.
Yeah,
just like Congress.
Does.
Well, just like what we're talking about right now, you've got folks that are very staunchly on one side of the fence, like snaps. So the conversation just goes on and on and on and on until the votes bear out one thing or the other.
My favorite thing is when they enabled Pipewire for the GNOME session on Debian. The package maintainer, the GNOME package maintainers were literally just like, yeah, we're just gonna do this. After asking the community if they should switch, because Debian is unique in the fact that it ships a more stock GNOME than even Fedora does.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I do love that.
Yeah, GNOME decided that they were going to support Pipewire by default before any distribution decided they were going to ship Pipewire by default. So technically speaking, Fedora was not the first distro to ship Pipewire by default. It was actually Debian. However, Debian does not have an official desktop environment, so therefore it doesn't count in that argument.
Yep.
But after the proposal went through the Debian community, the community made a big giant stink about, switching to Pipewire because Pipewire was not stable, not released yet.
Yeah.
But GNOME decided they were going to switch to Wayland by default.
Yeah.
So, therefore, Debian was going to switch to Wayland by default.
Yep. No other choice.
And as proven from the last release, it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, doesn't Debian have a de facto desktop? Because if you don't choose one specifically, you get GNOME.
You get GNOME, but that's just for historical reasons, because nobody's really updated the installer to change the package meta group of the Debian desktop environment, because that has always been GNOME.
And they tradition. I think now they're kind of pointing people towards the live installers, which are Calamaris, and essentially running the desktop environment that you want to run anyway.
Yeah, we had
because
the current.
You download that version.
We had the current Debian project lead wrap up one of our comments as that's right.
Jonathan Carter.
As a change request, which was so.
We did. That was
that was so cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh man, that felt really good. Okay, so the Gentoo compile is done, but I want to take the last one real quick, or hit this one real quick. So they use AppArmor, another technology I have to have installed, and which bloats my computer because I don't use it for anything else than snaps. But he said the word bloat, and I don't like that word. I don't think that word is useful in any real appreciable way, except for people that want to strip down their computers to have, only exactly what. But at a point like that, at a point where you're making decisions on whether or not something is bloat, I feel like you really got to be putting it together yourself. You got to be a little bit more on the Archie side of I want this, I don't want this.
Well, I think at that point you've got enough technical interest in making it your own, right? Not just you're not just taking what's given to you at that point. So you're not interested in that.
Yeah. So I mean, that I feel like that one's a bit of a personal preference, which is perfectly fine. It's 100% great.
It is,
but that just blows all the Ubuntu's and all of the Ubuntu derivatives and Debians out of the water, right? I mean,
I don't know is there's anything other than the things that you're going to put together yourself, right? That only leaves Arch and Void and Gentoo and LFS.
Not even Void.
Maybe.
Because the Void packages are built with AppArmor support.
Oh. Yeah, but so does it necessarily bring in AppArmor automatically?
It depends if you install their GUI version.
Okay.
If you install the GUI, you get AppArmor. If you do the minimal install, you don't get AppArmor.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
So yeah, it really does slim down your pickings there, and you have to be on a very specifically non-opinionated distro like Arch, right? I mean, you really kind of got to build it up yourself if AppArmor is going to be a thorn in your side.
Yeah.
Which is,
I feel like you got to start with nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, which is perfectly fine. That is a cool way to do things, and I feel like you really take ownership.
That's why those things exist.
Yeah, this is why I love distros, man. I love distros equals distros plus one because there can never be enough because there's too many opinions out there for one distro to rule them all. Which is why you have the cool battle between Canonical and Red Hat with these two cool desktop offerings. But I think one is a clear winner. So, it's half in, half out. So a very opinionated stance, which is perfectly fine. So we'll come back to the rest of those after we make a couple of adjustments. Hey,
look at that! It got done on Gentoo there. Yeah,
it did. It definitely did. It got done a little while ago. So I knew that wasn't going to take terribly long. It
wasn't bad.
It took about 30 minutes, right? That's not bad. All right. So I have re-emerged, new, used, did. All the stuff.
Okay, so you're logged in as root right now.
I am.
Which root will not see a system service file, so you actually need to be a normal user account.
All right. So let me see. The way they asked me to do it was as a user or something, so they want a -- user. So system.
Yep.
User maybe. I don't even remember how they asked me to do it.
System CTO -- user.
Yeah, and then start. Oh, look at this. It didn't complain this time.
You want to start Pipewire, WirePlumber, and Pipewire - Pulse.
Okay, what's up with that now? It finished off Pipewire for me, but then it. Okay, hold on. What is there then?
You because call -- user status.
Yeah. You gotta have user.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Okay. Oh, so then we need to. Wait. The preset is enabled, but yet it's disabled. Okay, well that's fine.
Yeah, because you need to start Pipewire or WirePlumber. I mean.
Yeah, you need WirePlumber to make that happen.
Yeah.
Oh.
You gotta have the back end stuff.
Do I need? And I just got WirePlumber.
Yeah.
All right. So what do I need to do from here?
Fun fact: if you call system CTO -- user enable -- now, that will both enable and start the service at the same time.
Let's see. Oh, I remember that they did mention that here. Let me see. Where are we at? Here it is, right here. All right, system control, user enable, blah, blah, blah. That's all the good stuff. Let's see. Let's go through this before we just... So system control, user enable, this enables the service right now. And it starts it now as well. And then we're talking Pipewire socket, Pipewire pulse socket, and wire plumber service. All right, so this does everything for everything. Cool. Very cool. Hey, man. I think...
Now you got sounds.
Well, I didn't enable the Pipewire service yet, so I got to do that last bit right here.
Well, the socket and the service are both technically the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so you shouldn't have to. So you can run pactl --info.
Let me see. Socket activation means the service will only be started when required, which is usually sufficient. Oh, I see. However, the user service can always be started when the user logs in by replacing Pipewire socket with Pipewire service. Okay, so yeah, you don't need the service because the socket will take care of it whenever the first... I guess whenever the desktop is like, hey, we're going to have audio, and then so...
We're going to put audio out your speakers now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's you might need to restart GNOME.
And GNOME was running when I left it going, so just a reboot would probably take care of all of that. And so, what did you say? PACTL?
Yeah, PACTL for pulse audio control. --info.
Unrecognized. Oh, well, let's see. What do we got? --help.
Oh, we don't have pulse utils installed.
No, they're there.
Or maybe it's not --info. It's just info.
Oh, just info. Yeah,
yeah.
Sure
I think that might be what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. PACTL.
Yep, there it is.
No, yeah, I see that now.
Is local yes. Username Leo on me.
There you go.
Server name.
So there we go. Server name pulse audio on Pipewire.
Okay, so Pipewire requires pulse audio.
So
just the controls. Basically.
The way that it works is that Pipewire is running the sound. It's just that it's using the Pulse Audio API because that's what applications support.
Oh, so it's like a Wayland thing. It's where like applications support X, so we're using X Wayland to run them on a Wayland session.
Yeah, just like that. It's also Pulse Audio API is a lot easier to write than Pipewire APIs. So even the Pipewire team just tells you that if you're going to write an application that requires sound in Linux, just target Pulse Audio or Jack.
Got it. Dan. Okay. So I've been talking to I've been talking to oh my God, why can't I remember his name? The truckers guy. What? Oh my God. Why can't I remember? Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, good thing Bill's not going to watch this. So anyway,
your other podcasting partner.
I was talking to Bill, and we were working through this issue that we've been having, and that you and I have been having as well, with the audio not syncing up with the video after a little while. Okay. So I think we've come to a conclusion, maybe, and
I'm doing?
No, something that Linux is doing, and that there might be some actionable steps to go through right now. Okay, so what's happening, we think, is something that happened to me a long time ago. So this is going to take a little while. I'm sorry. Go get yourself some hot cocoa. This is going to be a wild ride. So when I first bought my Focusrite Scarlett Solo, I plugged it into a Linux box. I've never had this issue before, but I plugged it into a Linux box. I started to record something, and all of a sudden, in the middle of the recording, after I was listening to it again, it pitch shifted down. And so I sounded like I had just, dropped an octave for no reason. And after poking at it, I found out that what was happening was whenever I would do something specific with the audio, Pulse would freak out and have to restart, but it would restart in a fail-safe mode. So what was happening was Pulse at the beginning, in this line right here, if you look in the live stream, this is why it brought all of this up. So Pulse would start up with the default of 4,800 hertz, and it had a fail-safe of 44,100, which is typically what all audio is recorded in. And anytime you go onto like Spotify or whatever, it's 44,100, right? Video tends to be 48,000 for largely aesthetic reasons, I guess. I don't know. I've not found a clear answer as to why one is the one and the other is the other. But anyway, doesn't matter. Pulse preferred 48,000. And when it failed, it would fail down to 44,100. And I could actually reliably make it fail when I played a YouTube video. So if I was recording something and then went to a website, played a YouTube video, specifically, and it wasn't even in Firefox, it wasn't like it was in Chrome or anything else too, Pipewire would fail down to 44,100, and that would then affect my recording because it would record slower, which meant that it shifted me down. So the issue that you and I are having is, I thought, not the same issue, but in fact, it might be. You're using Pipewire, am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine looks remarkably similar to what you have there in front of you.
Okay.
Other than the devices, obviously.
Okay, but you haven't done anything special today. So Pipewire and /Pulse, and now that I know that Pipewire depends on bits of Pulse, it makes a whole lot more sense. So if for some reason Pipewire is reading that Pulse is going to need to fail down to a different sample rate, then Pipewire will surely follow along. And instead of giving you a pitch shifted situation, what it's doing is it's slowing down the recording, but it's trying, so Audacity or whoever is trying to record at the original sample rate, but it's receiving, the bits it's actually receiving is a different sample rate. And so in the Audacity situation, what's happening is it's stretching out the audio. I think we might have figured it out, man.
Wow, you're a genius.
No,
okay.
I'm not that smart. But I did figure out the first one. I think Bill figured out this bit. I didn't realize that my original problem is the same problem we're running into because it presented differently. It's like, man, I feel like a doctor, right? Where it's like, you have these symptoms. Oh, well, that's an easy fix. I've seen those symptoms a million times before. Here's the medicine for that. Here is the exact same sickness, but with wildly different symptoms. Turns out you just needed the same medicine. And that medicine is forcing Pulse and or Pipewire to just shut up and do 44,100 all the time. Do not change it, ever. Blows my mind that it's the same sickness with different symptoms. Yeah. And yeah, so Haig says that some odd stuff in transcription. So is it
I bet. Yeah, no,
so is it
would,
like
that would make your shifted
the timing is off,
right?
That's why you should be recording using Jack, which Pipewire also supports, by the way.
Probably.
So maybe we found
the low latency goodness.
Yep.
And so what we need to do, I think you and I, Dan, need to just force Pipewire and or Pulse to just 44,100. That is it, because that's the FLAC file you give me is in 44,100. So we need to make everything agree, and then when we sit down to do another episode, I'm gonna get real hyped up, and if it doesn't work, I'm gonna be real sad because I don't have the answer. But I think we might have the answer here.
So you're saying the next recording is going to be from a Gentoo machine?
Oh God! I think at this point we could.
You say that?
I got Pipewire on here now, baby.
Yeah, no, I totally could on my laptop. Yeah, I mean it's a little underpowered, but I mean it would do audio recording.
Yeah, 100%. I think we do that. I've got multiple microphones over here, man. I could do a double recording. One here on the safe machine, one separately to a Gentoo machine. Have just two mics right here, right? Like just two physical feeds. We could make it happen. And if the Gentoo one comes out right, I don't know why I wouldn't use a Gentoo one. Just for the lulls, man. That would be yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, audio recording doesn't take a whole lot of processor power.
You at least got to do the Gentoo episode from the Gentoo machines.
Oh, I feel like that was already a given. There was no way that I wasn't gonna spend this much time playing around with Gentoo, getting a usable, workable system that all I got to do is emerge the at world every now and then. That I wouldn't use it for something like 100%. I'm gonna do it. Definitely gonna do it. Dan,
I've been using it. I've been using it. It's a good machine. It's fine. It works great.
Yep. Yeah. Other than
it's a ton of maintenance.
Yeah.
But,
other than going through the setup steps, I don't think anything about Gentoo has been any harder than any other system. It's just cobbling it together, just like Arch. But I feel like there's more to do in Gentoo. There's more to understand in Gentoo. So
Yeah,
I used
think
to say
you get closer into it. I feel like a little bit. Yeah,
I used to say Arch was a really good way to learn how Linux is put together
it's
and
not
why
bad.
things
It's
are
a
the way
step.
they are.
Well,
I think it's a good step.
Arch is a great way of like a basic understanding.
Yeah.
Gentoo is when you get a little bit more in depth.
Yeah, I feel
I
like
agree.
you have to have a lot of knowledge coming into Gentoo to really be able to make sense of what the handbook is really trying to get at with some things. Because I was talking about, I think it was the Saigoneer in the Patreon channel where he was talking about the best way to do Gentoo is to read the entire handbook and then just do what you want.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
That way, at least know where to reference to after you've gone through a bunch of steps, right?
Yeah. My specialty is getting an already pre-built server and then using the server for interesting things rather than building the server itself, right? So, yeah, I'm kind of blind, poking around and like, oh, that sounds right. But it works, man. It's cool. Yep. So I have a feeling Pipewire is going to be just fine. I have to go look at the GNOME session right now. I am Wayland on Gentoo. What is is it free RDP? What is the best way to do a remote session on a
RDP?
Is it like RDP or free RDP?
GNOME has RDP built in.
Yeah. The GNOME screen. GNOME has RDP built in.
Oh, fantastic! That's fantastic.
Yeah. I don't know if the Gentoo package supports it.
I don't know either.
But GNOME itself does have RDP support.
Yeah, and I think that came out in 44, maybe?
That said, It works best GNOME to GNOME.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I am on GNOME, so it's cool.
I think Remina probably would work RDPing into it as well.
All right. So if I wanted to do that, I would need to like toggle some GNOME things or know how to do that under the hood, which I guess we could do, but I feel like I'll break something. So
yeah, the GNOME connections manager, which is available as a Flatpak, by the way, can actually just automate that for you.
Okay, so I think
you don't have to do things under the hood as long as RDP support is actually built in.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So I feel like we're good on the audio situation. I will test that in between episodes, and I'll come back with.
No, just walk over to the computer and just play a YouTube video.
Yeah, but then I gotta walk over to my. It's in a different room. It's over there.
You just do like a play, some sound.
It's a little hot. You know what?
Does that work?
A-Play will only work if Pipewire is built with also support, which I don't believe you enabled.
You know what? Let's look at the what was it? eQuery. What was it again?
eQuery. eQuery uses media video Pipewire.
No, Pipewire also.
Okay.
Yeah, so that won't work. Okay, but that's okay.
All right, fair enough.
I like the pace that we're going because I think like a few episodes before we actually do the Gentoo history is it's gonna work out. Like we'll have a soft landing, and then we'll talk about Gentoo, and I'll have everything going. So it's perfect. This is perfect. I'm gonna test this over the break.
Can I take a minute and explain also why you shouldn't, why it's probably not a good idea to run Toda AMD 64 globally?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad that you're here to tell me this. Yes, tell me why.
Okay. So, Toda AMD 64 is Gentoo's testing repository. A lot of people, being used to like Arch Linux, it's like enabling the testing repository on Arch Linux.
Right.
And you will have all kinds of wonderful issues because, of course, say like GNOME updates, the GNOME by default upstream uses systemd support. So actually fairly recently, like a few months ago, the GNOME 44 update came in on Gentoo, and the GNOME maintainer just did like a quick update to the ebuild, just to enable GNOME 44, and immediately everybody that was using GNOME on Gentoo suddenly had systemd installed on their system. However, they were also declaring -systemd in their make.com file because GNOME pulled in a brand new dependency that required systemd. So if you want to be dealing with issues like that, fair game. Go ahead and do it. However, the big difference between the testing repository and the stable repository is that if you're just using just plain AMD 64, you're gonna get all the same updates just 30 days later.
Yeah.
That's really the big difference. So you're going to get the latest and greatest packages. You're just going to get them with a little bit more quality assurance behind them.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess I'd argue the only thing that you might be thinking about, or maybe your browsers.
Yeah. Well, Gentoo.
And you could do it per package.
Okay. So the idea behind Gentoo is that your system is literally going to be as stable as you let it be, and by default, they're going to base it on the most stable thing possible, which is why you get an LTS kernel, you get the Firefox ESR, and there's a few other packages that affects as well. So they will preference the LTS release of a package.
Right.
So like KDE Plasma, your Gentoo stable is going to run 5.25 or 5.27 for probably the next year or two until the next Plasma LTS version releases.
Which is like 6.1 probably, right?
Yeah, that's why you're not going to get GNOME 45 on Gentoo stable. Instead, you're going to sit on GNOME 44 because odd number GNOME releases are the testing releases.
Right.
Really? But Ubuntu put it in the LTS.
Always. And so does Fedora.
That's just a Gentoo thing. And Fedora is not intended to be like the stable distro.
No, it's not. Right. Yeah.
But Ubuntu is.
I mean,
they do.
Ubuntu is also willing to put in the development effort.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, when you got the money,
patches.
Why not?
They'll backport patches and stuff too. So like, if there's fixes for things, they'll bring them in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. I mean, they pay people to do that, which is exactly why you can do weird stuff like that. That's fantastic.
That's why it's in Maine. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, in general, just take a minute and figure out how the package.accept keywords file works.
Okay.
And that's how you manage packages.
Yeah. I agree. I think if you've got a specific thing that you want to do that for, then you should probably do that in the package itself.
Yeah.
Not globally.
So Dan, how are you writing testing? How did you configure it so that you're writing testing?
Listen, this is not my main machine. I'm running it. I am.
It.
But I wouldn't do that if it was this machine that I'm sitting in front of, right?
You would be like me and you would be writing
Absolutely.
stable.
The big benefit of writing the testing branch is that you basically just learn Gentoo faster. Because there you get to deal with like circular dependencies.
You do
make or use flag errors and so on. I'm
sure
that you probably ran into a few already.
Yeah, I have. It's
we had to fix them on the last live stream for me.
You've had some, but I've had twice as many.
Yeah, well, mine was from stupidity. Yours was likely from just weird packaging.
Just
so
way things were coming in. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's really cool. That's cool to know. So there's kind of three ways to ride on Gentoo then in
a little bit.
One more likely to break.
You can also just accept asterisk in your accept keywords variable in make.conf if you want the absolute bleeding edge.
Yeah, that sounds scary.
That's basically where you just get pull from a master branch.
That's kind of cool. I think once I'm like, all right, I'm done with Gentoo. I feel like I'll just ride that into the sunset.
You'll just change it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then once it breaks where I've got to spend hours trying to fix it, then it's just like, all right, the Gentoo journey's done.
That said, if you run into a system like that, into a very broken state, hop in like the Gentoo IRC because people will absolutely love helping you fix a system like that.
Yeah, and from what I've noticed, like I actually have been watching that channel, and from what I've noticed, like people really are over the top helpful.
Yeah. So is that what happens? Like you're on a stable distro. You move to Arch, and then people get angry, and then once you move to Gentoo, people get less angry.
Well, it depends on where you're getting help from. Like in the Gentoo area, like the Gentoo forums are just as toxic as the Arch Linux forums.
Oh,
that's just a thing. But like the IRC channels, they actually do quite heavily moderate the IRC channels. So you're not going to get like
it seems good. It seems like you get good support over there, from what I've noticed.
That said, if you're in the IRC channels, Sam _ is the absolute best guy. absolute best because he will always find you the answer. Just got to give him a minute to find it for you, but he will guide you through every issue that you ever have.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Okay. All right, Sam.
No,
sorry.
Well, anyway, no. From what I've noticed, it has been pretty good. I'm impressed. I'm like some of those things. I'm like, wow, you're really like that's going above and beyond. I feel like to find resolution to some of those problems. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Well, people just find it fun because
they want to know what makes it tick too. Yeah.
Well, it makes it tick, and basically there are some people that just really enjoy the discovery of computer science, and that's what Gentoo is. It's just an experiment in computer science.
And I like that. I think that's why I think that's why I'm liking this whole journey thing. I felt like it was going to be a whole lot more not difficult, but not fun. But it's proven to be very fun. Like learning about all
Linux
this.
from scratch is labor. Gentoo is basically what everybody wants Linux from scratch to eventually turn into anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say, right? Like, isn't that really kind of what you want, right? I don't think anybody really likes figuring out how to package stuff together. It's just making a usable system exactly the way you want is what people that end up on what is it? Linux from scratch, LFS. Yeah, really eventually want, and so they'll probably end up just on Gentoo. But that's cool. I like that. All right, so this is going to be what we're going to hit up next. I think next live stream, this will be the target. Network manager, get that going so I can not have to hard code Wi-Fi. That would be cool. But that doesn't seem difficult. Let's see. Just slap those use flags in there. Yeah, that was a thing that I learned the last live stream, which is these aren't the use flags you should use. These are just the use flags you can use.
Yep.
And you're meant to actually go through them and figure out what you want. Huh.
Yeah, that and the wiki's use flag listings aren't always the most accurate either. That's why I told you to use the equery command, because equery will always show you what's actually available.
Got it.
I think for network manager, for example, network manager's use flags are way larger than that little list that you got right there. Another prime example is Firefox. So if you ever want to get around to compiling Firefox, you'll notice that equery will print that there's like 200 plus flags for Firefox, most of its languages.
How do you parse that many use flags for what you actually want without deciding that, all right, today is use flag Firefox parsing day, and you sit down with 6 pots of coffee and you just go through them all? How do you get through that?
eQuery and pipe in the grep.
So you just kind of just take what it tells you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay,
and just work through it.
Yeah, well, hold on. So work through it. So you really do just sit down with a pot of coffee and you're like, yeah, don't need that one. Don't need that one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
remember what I said about rabbit holes last time I was in here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But but that tracks though. That totally tracks. That is the way that Gentoo would do it. It's just like, here's your stuff. Good luck. And
yep.
Yeah. Well, okay. All right. So I did not have I was not thinking incorrectly that you just brew a pot and you go. Okay, that makes a whole lot of sense. But then obviously
parse through it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously
why do you think I mentioned before I joined I was going to go make a cup of coffee?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then you just note those use flags somewhere, or just back up all your package use flags and then plop them on a new system if you have to, or something like that. You only really have to go through that process one time, and then you'll always kind of know.
And one way to find out, like real quick, like what flags you have available for your system is just run emerge -- info, and that will tell you how your system is configured.
Yep.
Let me see. Oh wow, and that's so many though.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that's going to be your profile.
Okay.
So like when you ran eSelect profile, that sets like the majority of your use flags right there.
Right.
Yep.
Because just remember the profile is literally just like shortcutting Gentoo. You don't have to select a profile.
Oh, so you can just you can just set it all yourself. Well, that makes sense too. Yeah, okay. So there's there's an entire reason to come in here and look at the use flags and go make changes if you need.
Yeah.
That's truly running Gentoo at that point.
Well, and I think that's the beauty behind it, right?
Yeah.
That's really where the magic, happens in a way, right? That's
not even truly running Gentoo because when you're installing Gentoo and you see it's written to Gentoo, at that point you're basically running a Gentoo. Good job, installation's done.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of how. It's
really
just a matter
running
of it's just a matter of the rabbit hole. Like, how deep do you want to go?
But I feel, I don't know.
I think just touching the surface is no different than installing any other distro, right? This is the thing that makes it so special. That's the special sauce is that you can go in there and go down the rabbit hole if you want to.
I'm just feeding off the handbook and what people have told me, and that's not really running Gentoo though. I feel like that. Yes, you're running a system.
That's getting it running.
Yeah, when you type in NeoFetch, it says Gentoo, but you're not
to it.
You're not riding the lightning, baby. You're not messing with the use flags yet. And until you really actually parse through all of the use flags and decide that, oh, actually, it turns out I don't need that one. And then, that one's, pretty integral to the system. So you end up having to recompile the whole thing. That is making the actual decisions that, outside of a profile, right? Choosing a profile and following the handbook. Not quite. But, to not be exclusive or gatekeepy or whatever, yes, you're running Gentoo. As soon as you type in NeoFetch and hit enter and it says Gentoo, you're running Gentoo.
But that said, NeoFetch is not going to be in the Gentoo repositories for too much longer. It's actually slated to be removed.
Oh, what? Are they replacing with FastFetch?
Well...
Or ScreenFetch or something?
NeoFetch hasn't seen an update in like 2 years.
Right.
And people are just like constantly opening issues. So, like if you install NeoFetch right now, it will actually give you like a news listing telling you that, hey, NeoFetch is looking to be removed. Here's some alternatives for you.
Well, hang on, NeoFetch.
That makes sense, honestly, because
here you go, everybody.
Those items are actually good.
Before Gentoo murders it, there you go. It's on the live stream. We have historical
got it now.
reference.
It's not going away.
Yeah, well, that's true, right? Like, even if Gentoo gets rid of it, I just won't be able to get update. Well, not that there were updates to it, but yeah, look at this.
You won't be able to get any of the non-existent updates.
But it's on the stream, man. It's on the stream now. It'll be there forever. It'll be there forever. Man, that's really cool, though. So
there's other tools to take that place, though.
Yeah, but we're halfway through the season, man. I have another half a season.
That's where you really got to tinker with it, though, I feel like.
That's
right?
the rabbit hole Josh keeps talking about. I have to go down the rabbit hole.
Make it faster. Just for a quick warning. You can optimize it as much as you want, but your system probably you're just messing with percentage points. It's not like you install Gentoo now your system was like 20% faster like it used to be.
No. 0.5%, I'll take it.
Yeah, so like it used to be that installing Gentoo would make your system faster because people were running these things called hard drives. For the file system, and smaller binary means faster load time.
Right. And ordering those correctly, all that stuff.
Yeah. Before we're all done with this, I need to go from 02 to 03, which would end up forcing an entire system recompile, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and there's a fun way to do that. That is just emerge-e.
Okay. Wait. E for entire?
No, E for empty tree.
Oh, okay. Just start over.
Which if you run emerge-ae right now, basically what that'll do is that just tells Portage to recompile the entire system. But it's also a great way of checking to see if your config files are set properly.
Also, hang on. Saigoneer, we were talking about it. This is how you do it. So, hold on. You said emerge-ae?
Yep.
Okay, so, all right, Saigoneer, here's what we got to do. We got to run emerge-ae so we can find out how long it takes to emerge the whole system, to actually do the whole system. We were talking about that in the yes. Yes, I got him on board. It's time to do the whole thing. Nice. I'm impressed.
But yeah, after you run that, at that point, then you're gonna have an emerge log for every single package on your system, which means that a tool like QLOP would actually be relatively useful.
Okay.
Because what QLOP does is QLOP is a tool that parses the emerge log, and what that means is that when say if you QLOP just like run plain QLOP with sudo privileges right now, it's going to tell you the last package that you installed, how long it's going to take you to install it. But if you use QLOP-RT, that will tell you what you're currently emerging and give you an estimated time when that package is going to be done compiling.
Hold up, wait a minute. So does this have to be done in a separate separate session?
You can run it from like any connected terminal. Yeah. So like what I typically do is I always run like my emerge commands in a tmux session.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, right. Someone told me to do that.
I've crashed my terminal before running Gentoo, and it's never fun when that happens.
Yeah, no, but then you can reconnect back to your session.
So I just SSH into the system and started to do it.
You could use screen or something like that, probably too, right?
Yeah, but tmux is cooler, man. Okay.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, screen or tmux. I just use tmux because it's what I know.
What about Biobu?
Right. Yeah, you could, I guess, if that tripped your trigger.
Here, look. So I'm looking at QLOP. Here's the QLOP RT thing. It's not very pretty, but it does give exactly what you're talking about. The package that you're on, how long it thinks it might take to emerge, how long it has taken, and the name of the package and when it started.
Len, that only works for things that you've installed before.
Right. Oh, so no new packages.
Right.
Yeah, so if it's a brand new package, it won't be able to help you figure that out.
Oh, so
makes sense because it doesn't know.
Hold on, wait a minute. So what you're telling me is that QLOP over here is gathering telemetry and not anonymizing
it. Never leaves your system though, so it's not broadcasting anything. Mm-hmm. It's just broadcasting it to you.
Okay, all right, but
local
there telemetry is still telemetry.
Yeah, that said, there are packages you can install.
We've just gotten a lot of comments about.
If you really want to help contribute.
Yeah, we've just gotten a lot of comments on telemetry and how it's evil. So I don't know, man. I'm a little more pragmatic than that.
Probably ranks number 2 to.
I mean, it's
to Snap.
You can get the exact same information but with some fancy cat commands and piping into awk off of just your emerge log too.
What? No.
Yeah.
I'm a proponent of running QLOP, but having a anonymized, obviously, but like having a full-on repository that you should have the information for new packages. For a CPU that is about your performance, this is what you should expect. Yes. Yeah. How cool would that be? That would be super cool, but it would require telemetry. And I feel like once you're that far down the rabbit hole that you're running a Gentoo, we've lost all of the people that are pragmatic enough to be like, yeah, let's do telemetry. Those people are long gone. They're still running Ubuntu.
And inevitably, as your Gentoo system exists, you're also just going to have all that data for yourself anyway.
Right.
Because eventually GCC is going to come down anyway.
But what if I move to a new system with a new CPU? Because it's not like Gentoo people don't build their own PCs too.
Oh yeah, then you want to know what's it going to be? Yeah.
Here's the fun fact for that, by the way. If you ever decide to do that, you can just rebuild your entire system for just stock AMD 64, and then you can just take the disk out, put it install on the new system, and then reset your use flag to whatever your current architecture is, and then just recompile the whole system.
Right, but QLOP would have to catch up.
Well, yeah, you'd have to do it once.
QLOP will probably still be using like the old system. So if you go to a faster system, QLOP's going to look a little long.
Yeah, so the ETA would be a little pessimistic, right? Like it's going to take 6 minutes, and then it took 3.
It'd be very conservative. We'll just say that.
Yeah. No, man, I'm the kind of guy that would be in favor of QLOP RT capital T for telemetry, and then you ship it off to a server where it's like, check it out. That's how long a CPU like this with this many cores at this particular clock speed or something like that would take. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, I think I've lost my audience. The Gentoo audience listening to a show like that would not be on board with even anonymized versions of stuff like that. I feel like we'd get a lot more pushback on that than anything else. But it would be cool.
There is a wiki page for software telemetry, by the way.
Wait, when did it start? We're gonna have to do a history episode on telemetry.
It's very short.
Oh, this is bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you go to Gentoo wiki and you type in software telemetry, there is an article for it.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Software telemetry. I'm checking this out. Let's see. Oh, okay. So it just mentions it.
Yep.
Ideally, the user is informed about the connection. Well, yeah, I agree, Gentoo. The Gentoo package can allow the user to. Yeah, totally cool. But yeah, I think where me and Gentoo would butt heads a little bit is I'm okay with an opt-in as long as before you do it the first time, you give me a chance to opt out. That's it. That's my whole entire stance, and that doesn't sit well with a lot of people.
No.
Well, yeah. The Fedora telemetry proposal is exactly that.
Yeah,
exactly. They give me the toggle.
Yeah, no, I think
it
was the best way you could possibly implement that.
I mean, we did a quarter of an episode on that right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm totally in favor of that one, man. Just as long as I can toggle it off before you ship off the first version of that telemetry, I'm cool with that. Because anybody that cares enough would read the thing. Because I've been in IT for way too long, and the one lesson that you learn is stop clicking next before you read the page. And that's it. If you read the page and then you click next, then okay. It's okay. And then I don't particularly think that the Fedora folks are scheming out here looking to steal all of your datas and use it for nefarious purposes or whatever. So I'm cool with it. Just give me the toggle before you take the first one, and I'm good. We'll be good. Everything will be good. Okay. All right. Do we have time? We have time for one more of BGT's questions.
Okay, yeah, let's go to it.
Let's hit it. All right.
I think we've done a pretty good job answering some of those.
Okay, this one I 100% wholeheartedly agree with. They fixed one of them. They didn't. Well, fix is okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did that.
He says they clutter up my mount points to the point where I have to grep for what I want if I know what I want. If not, good luck sorting through that. With LSBLK, that is true, but you're asking for block devices, and technically, a snap mount is a mount.
Is a block device.
Of a block device. So you're getting what you ask for there. And with DF, they have already removed that out. So not a concern anymore. All right. You don't have the platform, runtime, etc. separation of Flatpak, though that might have changed. And I think it has. I don't even know that was ever true. Was that ever true? That snaps were just plopped on your system and had access to everything?
Yeah, actually.
Okay. Yeah, because
they don't now, though.
My specific favorite snap was BTOP, and you have to go through such a list of rings to jump through to be able to get it to be able to query all the different things. Like, that was annoying, and that was years ago. So
right, but that's like why portals and stuff, like the XDG portals and stuff, exist.
And portals they don't pretty new for Flatpak, like in the past couple years.
Yeah, they are, but they aren't unique to Flatpak. They also work for snaps.
Okay,
and that's All
right, so this one's kind of wishy-washy. I feel like Flatpak and Snap both came onto the scene.
Right. The caveat is the developer can choose to have some connections there, potentially. Just like Flatpak, I guess, but like, and those things, if they're beyond the regular default, that's some of the stuff that they're reviewing in the store when the software gets submitted. Yeah. Is okay. You need a connection to that. Okay, please explain why you need a connection to, allow that.
That's fantastic.
Directory or
dude.
Whatever, right?
They've stumbled upon the Apple model, and people ain't gonna like hearing that. Because everything that any app ever does on an Apple device is like, whoa, time out. Are you sure you want this app to have access to your microphone? Because that could be bad. And then you just go allow. And now Apple's like, well, job done. But that's how it should be. The user should decide whether or not something should have, done. Eris?
Yeah.
Stop saying things like that. You watch too much of our stuff because now, like, He said, you read the whole page and then only click next, the Debian installer test. He's making a very specific reference. But we talked about it. Jonathan Carter had, that's, so.
Something sudo.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's very poignant.
Gotcha.
Yeah, true. But that was the thing that Jonathan Carter actually submitted the thing for us on our behalf because you have to read 4 paragraphs. Yeah, you have to read 4 paragraphs before you get to the point where it tells you how to actually do it without doing a thing, which is just click next, don't fill out the stuff. But how would you know? Because it straight up told you to do it in the very first line. I appreciate you, Eris. That was
stopped at the first sentence. That's cool.
Who reads the whole page? All right. They automatically update whenever, consuming CPU resources and internet when I didn't explicitly tell Snapd to do so. I want to update when I want. Period. Okay.
Snap pin.
Yeah, you can absolutely pin them, but it does it at the beginning of a session, doesn't it? It does it early.
No, it's a systemd timer.
Yeah, it's a systemd timer. It's like a 24-hour timer and it fires off. I think by default it's 6 in the morning.
12 hours? I don't know. Yeah, like
tell me how to look.
It's pretty big spacing in it.
How do we find so what timer is this?
List-timers.
All right. So system CTL what?
List-timers.
Oh, no. Is it dash timers?
No, list-timers. All one word.
Oh. Listen, I'm a little slow, all right? All right, so should be a snap one in here. I don't see one. Oh, wait, go down. No, that was it.
There's an apt one. Update.
Is it an Anacron?
It might be a cron job.
Really?
Or it might be tied into the app daily timer. I don't know. I don't have Snap on my system, so I can't find out.
They're silly. All right, this is going to be one.
I do feel like there's a timer there somewhere, though. Somewhere, right? Yeah.
Okay, but is it a cron timer so it happens, or it's an Anacron timer where it's lazy about it?
It might be an Anacron timer.
I feel like Snapd would be more of an Anacron timer where it's lazy about it, and it's just like, okay, as long as it's been a few minutes after the boot and things aren't happening, then we'll go ahead and run.
Oh, snap refresh -- time. That's how you find out. Okay.
Snap refresh time. So next time it's going to do it at 1:52 CST. All right, so this is very much the Windows argument for updates. This is where we're at.
It's a 4-hour timer.
Yeah.
So is it every 4 hours or every 4-ish hours?
Well, it says
I think it's every 4 hours.
To 24, so it's a 24-hour timer divided.
Oh wait, no, that's 4 times a day.
Okay, so that's
not 4-hour timer. That's 4 times a day.
That's a 6-hour timer. Yeah,
I was off.
Yeah, so 6-hour timer.
I'm sorry.
All right, so every 6 hours, it's going to check.
It's going to check.
Well, if it's snap refresh, then snap refresh will update your snaps.
Yeah, but you can also just pin. You can also pin.
There's a way to change it as well, I do believe.
Okay, but his point's sound, isn't it? Then
it is sound, yes.
So it will.
But like depending on the snap, it may not refresh if the snap is in use.
But will
Take Firefox for example. Firefox will give you that little warning that says, "Hey, there's a new Firefox out there." It will kick you out after 13 days, I think. It'll say
that's a long you have 13 time to days not close Firefox, though.
Essentially, it'll say you have 13 days to,
Well, that was my complaint.
If you close Firefox, it will refresh.
Yeah. Well, that was my complaint about the Software Center thing. Is that, dude, it didn't matter if I closed it, if I rebooted, if I did whatever. Like there was a bug
borked out of the gate. That was a bug, and they did fix it. Like so, you're not wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
And you could have forced it to fix it because then in the version that came down,
I
immediately was
did
the
do
one that
that
fixed it, right?
once, but the other
Right.
times I was like, no, I'm gonna let it handle it, and it never
Yeah.
did until it
Oh, really?
forced it after the 14th. It took 2 weeks. It took 2 weeks to decide to
Okay.
fix itself, which I get it. I mean, it didn't
Well,
affect
it wasn't.
anything.
It didn't fix itself. Somebody fixed it, and you got the later version.
Well,
I mean,
it ran out of time.
You can also just run snap refresh -- hold to just pause all the automatic updates.
Okay, so all right, so there is a workaround, but I think all of these things just boil down to there's a workaround and there's freedom in workarounds.
But let's go to the second part of that sentence.
Okay.
It says they update automatically whenever, but consuming CPU resources and internet when I didn't explicitly tell Snapdeed to do so.
Yeah.
I get when it's not when you explicitly told it to do so, but it's not using extra CPU resources necessarily because you're going to use those CPU cycles at some point to update it, right? And so over the course of the bigger time, it's the same number of CPU cycles. And I'd rather have that happening when I'm not sitting in front of it necessarily.
Yeah.
In the background, not using Firefox, than when I'm sitting there trying to use Firefox.
Okay.
Because it won't do anything. It won't do anything if you have it open.
So on a desktop, that makes sense. On a laptop, it doesn't. Because
because it may not ever be open, right?
Exactly. So
That's
that
a
6 hour timer is when you open your laptop next. So this is why
it's gonna try. Yeah.
This is why I was curious about is it a cron job or an anacron job? Because anacron will be pretty nice about things, and you can even go in and tell it like, chill, dude, use minimal resources when you do what you do.
Yeah.
But
it's baked into the Snap daemon, right?
Because when I have a laptop, man, I open it up and I use it, and then I close it and then put it away. And so if it's doing its stuff whenever the moment I open it up, then it is no different than dude, every time I open up Windows, dude, it screams at me, the fans scream at me. Because it's like, oh, we got 2 weeks worth of updates to do, buddy. Let's go. And it doesn't let you stop them. There is no stopping that.
Yeah. And it
other than if you held it before that, yeah.
And I don't think that it's a timer that you can independently manage through systemd or cron. I think it's all handled by the Snap daemon itself.
So basically what you would have to do is basically set it to an indefinite hold and then run the updates yourself.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, but there is a workaround.
That's what this guy wants to do anyway.
Yeah. I think that's right. And I feel like that's pretty okay. Like that is a pretty good workaround. So we're not in the anti-freedom here. We're in now you have to manage.
There's options. Yeah, there's options, but you got to do something.
But I feel like the majority of people that don't care are going to be benefited by this. And I think that was the entire point. And I made the argument way back when Snaps were talking about how they were going to be doing automatic updates. I was like, oh, this is the Windows style. But I also agree with the Windows style of you have to have updates, dude. This is your browser we're talking about.
Yeah, right. I'm happy it takes care of it for me. I don't have to think about it.
I'm a big advocate of automatic updates.
Oh,
because, you know, like even on Gentoo, I will sit there, I will write a cron job that automatically updates the system.
Yeah, I will too. Exactly.
And I do that sort of thing with Ansible on server stuff. So I mean, I get it. Like that's what that's there for.
Yeah, and cron is it will do it when you tell it. So if you tell it every 4 hours, it's gonna do it every 4 hours. Anacron, you can be like
doing it or not.
Yeah. With Anacron, you can be like at reboot, and it'll be like, all right, sometime after reboot, at reboot +5 or something like that. You could just you can kind of finagle it a little bit to be nice about when it's gonna do whatever it's gonna do. So yeah, but cron is there's a timer. You told me to do it right now, so I'm gonna do it right now. All right, so okay. All right, real quick. If I use Ubuntu, I'm being forced to use it. No, you're not. The end. But let's dig in. I don't care if other distros force, say Pipewire or whatever, there's always a way around it, sometimes even documented in the wiki. The snap is Canonical's offering, not a good technology that I might add, is obvious. However, shoving it down our throats with the phrase, without a documented way to use Flatpak is indeed talking of an ecosystem, but not in any good connotation at all. I'm thinking of Apple and Microsoft, and while they surely aren't as bad, I would nowhere characterize them as good, ethical, or a community-oriented company. All right, so let's.
So, does this guy use Fedora?
I don't know. Actually, I have to ask. I don't know what he uses. He told me before.
Because Fedora has no Flatpak documentation in the official Fedora documentation. They just tell you that Flatpak's installed and you have this repository enabled. They don't tell you how to enable a repository. They don't tell you how to make a repository. They don't tell you how to remove Flatpaks.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, if I use Ubuntu, I'm being forced to use it. I don't feel like anybody is forcing you to use Ubuntu. No one is walking up to you and giving you an Ubuntu laptop.
Yeah.
So,
nobody's forcing you to use Ubuntu. Nobody's forcing you to use the snaps when you choose to use Ubuntu. I guess that's those are the 2 points right there.
So if we could rephrase the phrase, I feel like it would work out. If I choose to use Ubuntu, I'm being forced to use Snap, and not okay.
No.
So yes, during boot, Snap comes up.
Well,
and it mounts the couple of little core things that it's got to mount. So in a way, yes, you're forced.
It's supposed to install as well now because the new installer is Snap based as well, right?
But so, I mean, we're gonna do some tests.
Out of the gate, you're right.
We're gonna do some tests. We're gonna see if Snapd really does take a whole heck of a lot of time to boot or not. So we'll come back to this one. But he goes on.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't care if other distros force, say, Pipewire, whatever. There's always a way around it, sometimes even documented in the wiki. But there's a way around Snap, too. You can uninstall it. You can install Flatpak. Now, while it may not be documented in Canonical's wiki to be able to do that, and I don't know that that's true, but if, let's say, Flatpak is not documented in the wiki, if you type in Flatpak to, I'm going to verify this, too. We type in Flatpak. Let's see, Flatpak. So, Flatpak. So under Flatpak, one of the very first things you see is get set up. And I'm going to guess, it takes you straight to flatpak.org/setup. And if you choose Ubuntu, it tells you exactly what to do. Sudo apt install Flatpak, sudo apt repository if you want to do it in Ubuntu to update and install Flatpak. Install the Flatpak plugin if you want for the GNOME thing. And how to install the FlatHub repo. So, while, yes, technically true, I feel like if you're technical enough to understand that you don't want Snap, then you're technical enough to just straight up type in Flatpak into a search engine and find the second link that showed up, and it said, get started, and it gave you the instructions on how to add it. So, yes, you are right that Ubuntu may not specifically document a way around it, but the documentation is there. And if you're mad about, or if you're not pleased with Snap, it wouldn't be that big of a deal to go search up how to get around it. Snap is Canonical's offering. That is true. Not a good technology at all, that I might add. Very much opinion. However, shoving it down our throats without a documented way to use Flatpak is indeed talking of an ecosystem. So yeah, surely it's an ecosystem, but I don't like the phrase shoving it down our throats. I don't think anytime anybody has ever said that, has there not been a workaround for that in free and open source software. I would love an example, because surely there's got to be one, right? Surely there's an example of an unworkaroundable issue. Okay.
And if you know anything about Linux or like how apt itself works, it's always been workaroundable.
Yeah, right? I mean, you can pin things, you can stop things. I mean, Linux Mint themselves stop Snap from installing. You can steal their solution. It's just a file.
Yeah.
Take it from Linux Mint, from exactly where they have it, and put it in your Ubuntu system to exactly where they had it, and you have the same solution that will prevent Snapd from ever reinstalling on your system, even if you accidentally ask it to. It will just straight up tell you, nope, you have to delete this file before any of that can happen. There is a workaround. They are not shoving it down your throat.
Yeah.
You can uninstall it, you can pin it, and you can get Linux Mint solution, and it will stop it forever.
Linux Mint is also like doing that a little weird because all they have to do is just use Debian's version of app rather than Canonical's. Since they already host their own repository anyway, you don't actually touch the Ubuntu servers when you're getting your package updates.
Yeah, Mint
the
app
Linux Mint
is
side.
a little different. The Linux Mint app is kind of completely different anyway.
Yeah, Debian and Ubuntu have their apps, but Linux Mint's app was before either of those and is still currently a Python script.
Yeah, but it's totally different than what it started out as. It actually calls different bits of apt and aptitude and all sorts of other things, depending on what you told it to do. It's a fun one to go dissect.
It is. Actually, there may be a Linux Mint apt versus Debian/Ubuntu's apt history one of these days.
Yeah, that could happen.
There's a whole lot of differences in them.
Please also discuss the history of apt RPM too.
Ooh,
that
sounds
right.
Terrible.
Alien? How about we get into Alien?
Oh no! Don't do this to me. All right. Well, I think it took us 2 hours, but we got through all of BGT's feedback on that one. That's really cool. And it obviously, I think if you truncate it down, it's probably about 20 minutes of talking about it, but that's way more than I could have typed in Matrix and to actually have any kind of, real conversation about it. So anyway, I'm glad we did that because it's super important. Apt is home.
It's got some comfort.
After Slackware, it was pretty much apt. Slackware and Mandrake. Did a little Mandrake for a little while, but then I took a break. And then when I came back, it was Ubuntu and Linux Mint pretty much exclusively after that. So apt really is home. I got to agree with that one, man. It's really hard for me to say. I keep Fedora going, and I mentioned this somewhere, but I have a Fedora install that I keep up to date. I have all of my applications installed on it via Flatpak and DNF. And I test everything. Like, I load up the episodes in Kdenlive, in Fedora, just to make sure that if everything exploded, I'd be able to just pick up and go. Just the way that the Linux Mint guys do we base off Ubuntu, but we also have LMDE as an escape hatch. I have the exact same thing. I'm Ubuntu/Linux Mint day to day, but I have a Fedora install ready to go in case something goes wrong. Like, if I'm in the middle of editing an episode of Linux User Space, there's absolutely no way that if my computer exploded, that I wouldn't have an escape hatch to Fedora to be able to finish out the episode and figure it out. So unless there was catastrophic data loss, we wouldn't be able to pick back up. But I have escape hatches, and that's exactly what I do.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Well, Monday. Comes out on Monday, Dan. I don't plan on breaking it unless for some reason we're sick and can't record. But once it's recorded, Monday. It's coming out on Monday, okay?
I know. No. I get it. I get it. We get right up against the wire sometimes, but we get there.
Sometimes. Well, Thanksgiving hurt a little bit. So for those of us in the U.S., how that's like a 3-4 day weekend kind of thing going on, and
I don't want to talk about Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we got a little close.
It was the most expensive Thanksgiving I ever did because I bought Thanksgiving dinner for 50+ people.
Oh wow!
Sure, that's cool though.
That's a cafeteria. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it was a good one.
We had 2 Thanksgivings. We had my parents and my in-laws. So there you go.
Yep, I actually had 2. I went to I went down south about an hour and a half, and I was supposed to go west about a half hour. But the second trip didn't work because we all got loaded up in the car with pies and everything, and then we turned the car on. The car didn't turn on. But it turned out it was battery. And we got that replaced under warranty for free, which is great, but it still kind of threw that one for a loop. So we got another visit planned.
Delays your trip, yeah.
Yeah, we got another trip figured out for later down in a week or two or something like that. But yeah, Thanksgiving did not work out this last weekend. But anyway, I guess that's it. Josh, dude, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, really.
And keeping me on the rails, making sure I didn't break anything. Looks like we got Pipewire going. I'm going to go test that out here in just a minute, figure out if that actually is the case, but I feel like it is.
Put some sounds out of your machine. That'd be cool.
Yep, that'll be nice. And
yeah,
then...
if it doesn't work, don't tag me because then I might have to start billing you. After hours, Gentoo support costs money.
Oh no! Yeah. This is.
We'll just catch you on the next live stream. Like, you got 2 weeks to catch up.
The last time I broke something, which was not Gnome, which was Grub, I think. I went back and fixed it. I got it fixed, but I just like doing all the nitty gritty here because,
well, everybody else should learn from it too, I think.
Yeah, you have to suffer with me. That's the point.
Sure.
But Josh, thanks again, really seriously,
really.
for coming on and helping out. I really, really do appreciate it. But for everybody else, we'll do this again in a couple of weeks, and another episode's coming soon enough. So stay tuned and all that kind of good stuff, and we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, a bit.
All right. See y'all later.